In the Bible, the Christmas story begins not with Christ's birth, but with his conception. The archangel Gabriel appeared to the Virgin Mary and told her that the Holy Spirit would come upon her and that she would conceive a son and name him Jesus. Her response is translated, "May it be," or "Let it be." But how should we understand her response? Are they words of wisdom, something like, "Go with the flow and things will work out"? That's what these guys thought she meant. Or was it a pious acceptance of God's will? When I was a Protestant, I heard 1,000 times how Mary was a very good, but otherwise unremarkable Jewish teenager. Protestant pastors would say that this 14-year-old girl really didn't understand what was happening to her, and she was probably scared. But they said she trusted God enough to let go and follow His plan for her life. And so, my Protestant friends still say she's an example of how each of us should trust God's plan for our life, even when we're scared and don't understand it. Now, that's a good lesson for all of us to learn, but from ancient times, Catholic Christians have understood Mary's response to the angel as far more than just letting it be or blindly trusting God's plan for her life. Catholicism sees Mary's response to the angel not as passive acceptance of God's plan, but as a positive choice for God as her creator and king and His plan. Mary wasn't just a good girl who happened to play an incidental role in the history of salvation. She wasn't just the oven in which God baked the Christ cake. No, she is the second Eve, the mother of a new, redeemed humanity. The first Eve had said no to God as creator and king, and no to mankind as creature and servant. Because Eve wanted to become like God Himself, she chose to disobey and distance herself from Him. And that alienated her children, us, from God as well, bringing death into the world. Now, if an innocent young woman's wrong choice could bring the fall, then another innocent young woman's right choice could begin the process of restoring the relationship between God and humanity. If Eve's no could bring death and close the door to Eden, then Mary's yes could open the door to the incarnation and to new life. But in order for her to make that choice, she needed free will, completely free will. To make her choice from a place of innocence, from a place not influenced by sin inherited from the first Eve and Adam. And so, during Advent, Catholic Christians celebrate the feast of the Immaculate Conception. Not the conception of Jesus, that's the feast of the Annunciation, celebrated on March 25, exactly 9 months before the Nativity on Christmas. No, during Advent we celebrate the Immaculate Conception of Mary. Now, my Protestant friends think this amounts to claiming that Mary is a god, but that's exactly the opposite of what we're saying. Mary was not born divine. She was born, in a sense, more fully human than anyone had been since Adam and Eve. Because God, through His grace, shielded her from the effects of original sin. She was born in innocence, with an unconstrained freedom that allowed her to choose to love and serve God, or to rebel against Him as the first Eve had. That's why the angel Gabriel addresses her as Hail Mary, the one full of grace, or the favored one. On the night the angel Gabriel visited her, the universe held its breath. Once again, God risked everything in love. Would this be the tragedy of Eden all over again? Mary said yes. And that allowed God to become man, and 9 months later, to be born in a manger in Bethlehem. Catholic Christians honor the Blessed Virgin Mary not as a mere instrument, but as an active participant in the plan of salvation. And that's why every Advent on December 8, we celebrate the feast of the Immaculate Conception and the grace that made possible the choice that allowed God to become a man. So, this Advent, remember that the Christ child is a gift from God and from the Blessed Mother to all of us.